Okay, I'm just going to jump on that last thing. If you want to go far, go together. And we want to go far, I think. Make a noise, like Americans. Yeah, okay. I think you need to think a little bit about yesterday, which feels like about 3 weeks ago, I think. We were talking about, in the hero's journey, who are we? Anyone? What? Yeah, I know he said mentors, but I just want to make sure. You all said mentors, so you're the mentors. Do you get that? You're the heroes too. Yeah, you kind of were the heroes, but you've moved. The story has shifted. You are now inhabiting the planet where you know how true all this is. You're not having to fight to make it true or prove it anymore. It is so clearly self-evident truth. There are still people who cannot see it, and it's your job or our job to be mentors, to open their eyes so they can see it, isn't it? It is heroic. You can still be heroic as a mentor. Yeah, in later Star Wars, Yoda jumped around with one of those things, lightsaber. I thought it looked terrible, but you know, he got to be a hero as well. So as a generation, as a group of mentors, how do you take care of yourselves? How do you make sure that in order to go far, you go together? So I'd like you just to have a quick discussion about what you're going to do to take care of your precious mentoring souls. Is that a relevant thing to talk about? I'm not getting a lot of enthusiasm for this. So how do you maintain the level of spiritual intensity there is in the room right now? All of you are experienced conference goers. You know that in a couple of days, it's all going to evaporate, and you're going to not feel so intense as you do now. How will you maintain this intensity? Maybe you could link up with somebody in the room, because you can do it by Facebook. It can be anywhere in the world, and just say, will you be my, what should we call it? Buddy? Cow? Accountability, okay. A buddy, a friend, a companion, Chewbacca. So you can maybe invent the word, but find somebody in the room that you've always wanted to talk to in the conference, and that hasn't been no opportunity, and now you've got this opportunity. So run around, find somebody and say, will you be my buddy, my learning curve person that's going to keep me feeling as intense as I do now? Is that okay? Happy to do that? Bit weird, isn't it? But you are Americans. Okay. If you've all linked up, that's all you needed to do. I'm a little bit gutted nobody came up to ask me to be their companion. But I think that what has happened here has been extraordinary. I have been completely overwhelmed by coming here and being with you and seeing what is in this room. You are actually changing the mindset of a generation. You are being the new sense, or the nuisance. You are being the nuisance, and people are going to remember this time. They're going to remember you as people who were the people of the new sense. And I didn't expect it to be so intense. I expected to have to work really hard to try and create this new sense. But as soon as I got here, I realized it was absolutely already here in your hearts. It was, wasn't it? There was no need to kind of womp it up or do any hyping. It was just common sense, this new sense. So it's been absolutely amazing to have been here, to witness it, to write it on the boards, to capture it, which is our obsession, to capture great things happening, great new ideas developing. And I just want to say thank you for having us. You are an extraordinary, an amazing group of people. Take care of yourselves so that you can continue to take care of the planet.
All right. So I also want to thank you guys. I know it's been a long 3 days. I hope you got a lot out of it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I know a lot of you seemed concerned about me at some points. One guy said, "You look kind of haggard, Chris." But no, I had a blast. I had a great time doing this. I love doing this every year. So thank you. We've got a couple of more treats in store. It's just a couple more minutes longer. Also, we are going to have the hats for sale outside. If you missed a hat, grab one on the way out. Those are still available, but most of the other booths are broke down. So we wanted to add a little treat, a little bit of artistic flavor to mix in with the continued theme of Artisans of the Grassland. And so we invited Kent Reeves to come do one of his famous poems to help close us out. Tim's got it.
Is that on? Okay. First of all, I want to do a real quick commercial. There's a magazine out called Ranch and Riata. And they did an article in the most recent edition on Morris Grass-Fed, Joe and Julie Morris, and the T.O. Cattle Company. It's called Going Holistic, a California ranch blends holistic management with vaquero tradition. And I think, and I had an opportunity to participate in it as the photographer, and Jessie Bissard wrote it. She's a holistic management literate journalist out of Bozeman, Montana. And so I just want to throw that out there as a commercial break. Also, yesterday, Rob Wolf made a comment about who's buried in Grant's tomb. The next time anybody asks you that question, you say Julia Dent Grant. And her husband happens to be buried next to her. And one of the things that came out of this conference is beside every great person is a really great partner. And if you haven't noticed that in this conference, then take the time to talk to Daniela and Jim and Andrea and Tony and especially Jody and Alan. So you want to take a look at partnerships and collaboration. Take a look at those. So remember that. Julia Dent Grant is buried in Grant's tomb. Okay, this is a rhyme-along. You've heard of sing-alongs. That means you guys have to actively participate in this poem, all right? And so I'm going to say a line, and then you're going to say another line. And my line is going to be, it was just about perfect, and your line is going to be, but then again not. Okay, we're going to practice one time, okay? I want you guys to get this down so that we have it just right. It was just about perfect. All right, I think you've got it. Okay, because that's what we're striving for. We're striving for the perfect ranch. Well, they ran a wagon, and we slept on the ground. It was the perfect ranch I thought I'd found. But when winter came around, it was cold, not hot. It was just about perfect. So I moved on south where the weather was mild. But they had crazy cattle. They were trotty and wild. They'd brush up all day and they wouldn't be caught. It was just about perfect. So I moved on west. I found a purebred operation further west. But then they said, "Hey, would you gather these cattle on an ATV?" And I said, "Surely you jest." And at branding time, on a table was how their calves were caught. It was just about perfect. So I found a place where they held a roe deer. Boy, with roping and doctoring, we were roping all year. Sorry about that. When we were with branding and doctoring, we were roping all year. It's my poem. I can screw it up. All right. So with branding and doctoring, we were roping all year. But their cow boss, see, this is what happens when you get in front of a large group of people. So I found me a ranch where we held a roe deer, and with doctoring and branding, we were roping all year. But their cow boss would scream and holler a lot. It was just about perfect. So I found me a ranch where the boss had no fits, but working on their horses, boy, it was simply the pits. They'd spook at the wind. They'd jump at ropes. Their blood was hot. It was just about perfect. Well, now I've been on ranches throughout the West, and I finally found the one that I like the best. It's the best ranch on earth. It's the right place to be, and that's the ranch that's being run by me.